is Heather Harlan. She is a health program coordinator for the Columbia Boone County Public Health and Human Services Program. She is also, my own writing. She is also the facilitator of the Boone County Overdose Response Coalition. Today, though, she's going to talk to us about NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and what it is doing here in Columbia. Heather brings a wealth of information on a broad range of mental health and wellness topics. Currently, she is focusing on community outreach for drug overdose response and adult and adolescent mental health. Her experience also includes adult and adolescent drug and alcohol counselor for many years, as well as she worked with the University of Missouri Department of Psychiatry. Heather is a certified reciprocal prevention specialist and a Missouri Associate Certified Drug and Alcohol Counselor and a volunteer family group facilitator for NAMI. She also enjoys her work as a professional storyteller at libraries, schools, and festivals across Missouri. She is an avid pickleball player and loves to cook and has started a weekly soup club at the health department. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you. Something I forgot my head of this. Yeah. I'm a Harlan, and if you recognize the name, Brooke Harlan is my nephew at the Career Center. So yeah, we're a bunch of foodies. So anyway, so thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here. I'm kind of wearing several hats today. The main one is with NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, but I can't get rid of my public health hat now that I found a really wonderful home and place that fits so many of my passions in one place. So I'll focus on talking about NAMI first, and then as we go along, we might bring in some other mental health issues. Let me just go over the handouts real quick. The ones from the health department would be this one. If you want to join us next Tuesday at the fountain, it's the information's here at the fountain. Over the noon hour, or at Boone County Family Resources if it rains. The little annual event, we started out with 20 people 6 years ago. We had 120 last year. Mostly it's a celebration. It's more for, it's open to the public, but a lot of people who work with children and families and mental health come to it. So you're welcome if you happen to be out and about and want to show support. I think you'd enjoy it. We are having a county and city proclamation for that. So we're excited. The other thing would be, if you haven't been trained in naloxone, how many of you know how to use naloxone to reverse an overdose? Well, this is your opportunity. Now, a lot of people, I will say, are sort of, well, it's those people. Why would I need to know that? Do you know anybody who's had surgery? I just had ankle surgery in November. I was on some pretty high-powered painkillers, really for a couple of days, but anybody take medication regularly and go, did I remember to take that noon dose?
Especially you're already.
If you get mixed up on some of these prescription medications, you are an overdose. You can also be taking it exactly as your doctor prescribed. You don't even miss a dose. You're doing it exactly. And sometimes your liver goes, I'm going to process that today. And you're an overdose. We are all at risk for experiencing it or witnessing it. Don't any teenagers that have wisdom teeth? Like, I ask people, they say, I don't need it. I don't know anybody. It's like, you know anybody who's had surgery? Seriously, this is just part of the risks that we take in our community. So if you're thinking, if you hear people saying, I don't know anybody or I don't need that, we need to reverse our thinking. Yeah.
Are you saying this is for all of us? I just thought it was specific.
Opioid painkillers.
Okay.
Right. So if they had too much alcohol, it won't help them. If they've overdosed on meth, it won't help them. But if you walk in and somebody's on the floor and you go, I do not know why they're there, this won't hurt them. Yeah. You don't need to know. Just administer it is one of the few drugs where you can go, it's not going to hurt anybody.
It'll only help.
Maybe it's a seizure, it's a heart attack, it's alcohol. I don't know. Use it. It likely it would be this. So this is your opportunity to get trained in it. It's going to be at the Blue Note over the noon hour, nice and convenient. And if for some reason, I just say, here's the short training. If you have the naloxone, and your phone, you can do it. Because if you have the naloxone, you can call and phone the dispatcher and they will tell you how to use it. If you don't have the naloxone, it doesn't matter how much you know about the naloxone, you can't help anybody. So that's my short pitch on that. So let's go on to the NAMI information. And then I also, just for good cause, you've got a flyer there on public health. We just feel like public health, like many good services in our community, has been too quiet. And people need to know about what we're doing kind of under the radar, as people don't appreciate what actually gets done. So, all right, we can okay, we're ready to switch to the PowerPoint. Drum roll, please.
Bear with me.
There it is. There's no sound with it. There is a video, but we'll see if it doesn't come up.
Why is it not coming up?
Because now you have to pick both.
Share.
I think you picked that. And then we're gonna do present. Where that was, you found it before, or just.
Yeah, there's a click for a video, which you might need to go back in and adjust the sound before.
Okay, we're trying here
That's
to.
right.
There we go.
All
right.
All right. So National Alliance on Mental Illness. How many of you have been familiar, have heard of NAMI? Okay,
Don't
good.
remember how.
Yeah, some people are like, yeah, I kind of heard, but you don't know what it does. So we'll walk you through that today. All right, go ahead, please.
The next one.
Next slide, please. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. So, that's people we run into a lot. It's like, what? What is it? The people have heard it or
You're just being mean to me now.
Practicing.
Maybe or whatever.
You're not in
Yeah,
presentation mode yet, David. You're just looking at the
Are you
at the
sure?
basic
Oh.
startup screen.
Oh, okay, hang on.
All right.
Let's do stop share. Because
There
it's
should be
fine
a
here in the
button to go
room.
into presentation mode.
In the room here on
Now
our
it's
screen, it's
gone.
fine. Okay, we'll do share again. And we'll do application window. I think try this one. All right. Sure.
Boy, this is too complicated for me. No, that's not it.
How about now? Do you see a slide that says what's NAMI a whole
Yep,
bunch of times?
that's a yes, we do.
That's it.
That was
We're
it.
good.
All
All
right.
right, we just grabbed the wrong
Okay.
one.
Now I think you just use your arrow key
Yes. Thanks, Dave.
So,
to the next
oh,
slide.
what is it? We're going to tell you a little more about what's available through NAMI. Go ahead. Next slide.
No, it's working. I've got
Oh,
it
because
done.
now you have to go back to, it's tricky. This is the Zoom. You have to go back to the tab. Yeah, this is so dumb. I forgot about this. The tab where it's actually, oh, you might hit. Save.
Page down key often works.
Yep, thanks. Do that again. Save.
Except you lost your share.
Okay, hang on.
Do you want to do it?
I don't know. Okay, there's. Is there any other that make this like a little slimmer so I can see the edges of what's behind it?
Sorry, folks. As you can see, this is a lot more complicated than these.
Here's the problem. I can share this,
Which he needs for the recording, right?
but now I need to get back to your desktop, get out of Zoom, shrink this, and I need to get back to your desktop.
An alternative is, can't you just click on the slides along the left?
Not in the Zoom view, which is where we were.
All right.
Here's what I need. That's what I need. That's what I need. I got it. And because we need to be able to go to. Where did it open? What program are we using? Is it this one?
It's
I did not-
PowerPoint.
Yep. Okay. So here's my test.
I did not start from my browser. That may be the problem.
Okay. Are you seeing any slideshow at home yet?
Not yet. Yes, but we're still seeing the setup screen. I don't know what to call it, where you have the pictures of the icons of the various pages down the left side. We're not in presentation mode, in other words.
I'm in presentation mode.
Now we are. Whoops. Oh,
Are you seeing our aim today and the person on a ladder
Yep, we are in two different places.
in two different places?
Yeah,
Oh,
but-
on the side as well. I'm not sure. I think
Yeah.
it just got some sort of preview, but we're gonna go with it because
Can't you just use your arrow key to go from one to the next?
well,
There an arrow.
Oh, deals with that too.
if it were that simple, we'd be doing it, Dave Taylor, I promise. Okay, let me try this. It's a
Well,
little
you just-
confusing because
Oh, that
is it
worked.
going-
That
okay,
works.
I think we're there. Okay, so here's the trick. We're not gonna be able to see the Zoom while we're doing this. You see what I'm saying? Because we're looking at.
Hard choice.
Okay, so sorry, but we're ready to
All right.
continue.
All right.
Now we can do it. But
Purpose.
just keep in mind, we're looking at
Yeah, right, yeah.
PowerPoint view.
Yeah.
And we're not watching Zoom right now, so we don't know what's
Yeah.
happening.
I think with PowerPoint, you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to just move from one slide to the next.
To raise your blood pressure.
Moving slides is not the problem. The problem is being, is looking at the.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I got you.
PowerPoint through
Yeah.
PowerPoint, but we are ready to continue. Just don't make faces at home because we can't monitor it.
Is then to introduce you to NAMI. Next slide. I have a lot of slides, so you have to be ready to click through the slides. Okay. So to learn about the groups, next slide, just keep your hand on okay, and learn about signature programs, next slide. And also, I want you to be confident that you connect somebody with NAMI. Like somebody is like, oh my gosh, my son has this issue, my spouse has it, what, you know, to go, oh, this, let me show you how to get in touch with these people. The next slide. So what is NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness? Next slide. It was founded in 1979. There were two mothers. I love that. Two mothers. It reminds me of Lolita Lee. Founded by women. Reminds me of Al-Anon, founded by women. I love support groups. Two mothers in Madison, Wisconsin. They both had adult sons who were living with schizophrenia. They were really tired of mental health conditions. This whole system was complicated. This was 1979. We're still singing the same song. It's very siloed and broken. But even as we learn more about how to help people, we still have a system that's difficult to navigate. They were frustrated by lack of services, especially for family, and they sought out other people with similar interests. Next slide. So, is there a need? Next slide. So, this is a statistic. This is especially my perspective on it. Especially my adult son, Micah, died by suicide about 7 years ago. He was 35. I was working in mental health at the time. He was very bright. He got his degree from Columbia College posthumously, but he had to wait for services. He was between counselors. He took his medication. He worked very hard with his doctors and psychiatrists. His counselor's out having a baby. He didn't have another counselor. He had an episode. He was hospitalized in May. He didn't get an appointment until September for follow-up from that. And then he only had one or two appointments. And then by then it was February. So I believe some people are chronic. He was very active in NAMI. We both were. But to let you know that the drain, as you know, caregivers of adults with mental health or emotional issues spend an average of 32 hours a week providing unpaid care. Now, one of my passions is that if you have a child, you can probably find some help. It's still very difficult to maneuver and navigate, but you can probably find some help. When your child becomes an adult, oh, you have an 18-year-old, you don't have a family. So that person's an adult. We can't acknowledge or deny if they're in treatment without their consent. There's nothing we're going to do to help you cope with it, even though they might be living in your home and you're responsible for them. This takes a huge drain. I can't tell you the drain that it was on me. And my son was cooperative. We got along well. And still the hours that we would spend trying to work on this together. So that's a huge passion of mine. And the reason I finally learned, because no one would tell me directly, is the reason we don't have services for family members who have adult loved ones. You know why? I had to figure this out. Nobody told me. Even people who work in mental health wouldn't tell me. And many of them didn't know because you can't bill for it.
Yes.
Okay, now it makes sense because you need a diagnosis, right? But so maybe my problem was I have an adult son who's really depressed and not very functional. What can I do to cope with that situation? We don't have anything. You don't really have.
Needs to be a caregiver diagnosis,
Yes,
a respite
something, yeah.
diagnosis.
So even if there were groups or something that they can bill for, but there really isn't. So that's why. So trying to find those services. That's why NAMI's there. It's one of the few groups that offers that. Next slide. So is there need? Yes, there is. All right. So next slide. I don't know if you can get to this video. Try it and see. It will have sound. You have to set it up, you share, and then you have letting the sound. If we don't, it's okay.
Each year, 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience
That's the
mental
sound.
and 17% of youth aged 6 to 17 experience a mental health disorder.
I joined NAMI because I have 2 sons that live with a mental illness, and I didn't want any other families to feel alone like I do.
NAMI, the first thing we want anyone to know is you're not alone in your mental health journey.
I just really want to talk about it so people know that you don't have to go through it alone.
NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness, is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization, dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans affected by mental illness. We started as 2 moms, gathered around a kitchen table in 1979. And today, we are an alliance of more than 600 local affiliates and 48 state organizations who work in your community to raise awareness, build advocacy, and support and educate. NAMI envisions a world where all people affected by mental illness live healthy, fulfilling lives supported by a community that cares. Every year we are expanding, no matter race, religion, age, or sexual identity. We are people with lived experience, families and loved ones, survivors and advocates. Together, we will fight the stigma of mental health and create a better world for the sake of all of us. We have resources for you. I can't wait to become an extension of your family. Here for a healthier world. We're here for better mental health. We are here for each other. Join us.
There were nice pictures.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
So
And I hope they were seeing it. Sure what's gonna happen. You. And I'm not sure how
Well-
to get back to
Okay.
who? There we go.
Okay. Next
All right.
slide. Yeah. On to the next.
Yay.
Okay. So as I said, a national network, we work in your community to raise awareness, provide support and education, and again, offering help that's not usually available to people. Next slide. So support, education, and advocacy. That's what we're about. Next slide. Signature. We have what we call signatures program. There are peer-run support groups, classes, presentations, and they use materials that are in curriculum developed by NAMI. Not all of it, but a lot of it is evidence-based. Next slide. So some of the signature programs, they're generally education for families, usually at no cost. I will mention this later also, but the state of Missouri has had a contract with NAMI. The total contract was $250,000 so that we could provide everything at no cost to anybody in Missouri. So 100% of that budget that was cut, 50% of it was restored in the House version of the budget. We don't know in terms of the Senate or in terms of the governor's signature. So just to let you know, if you wanted to write a letter to your senator or whatever, your state senator, what would be helpful, $250,000. One seriously ill person can run up a bill of $250,000 really fast because NAMI uses peer supports, and generally most of us are all volunteers. In Kansas City and St. Louis, they have some staff, and in Jeff City for the state, but it's all volunteers. So how much money that saves the state being able to provide those supports. So just so you know that that's the situation. Okay, next slide. So our signature programs include, next slide, support groups. And that's where I'm most involved, support group. This card will tell you more about where the support groups meet. If you want to share that with somebody, We meet once a month at Broadway Christian Church. We have two kinds of support groups, and it's important people find the right support group. One is for family members or loved ones or friends who are going, what do we do? I don't know how to help. And the other is for recovery support connections, the adult individual who lives with that mental health condition. Because if someone who lives with a mental health condition comes to our group, it doesn't. They want to talk about their medication or how to cope with their situation. Sometimes they're ticked off at their family members are sometimes ticked off at their loved ones. People need different kinds of support. So we're very careful to encourage people to be sure in the right group. And I had a couple of times when family members brought their loved ones. That did not go well because the family members were speaking as though the people weren't even there.
Yes.
And they said, well, they won't or she won't. I'm like, and I told my co-leader, this will never happen again. Not allow that. So if somebody comes and they're in the wrong group, then I usually take them off to the side and explain, we want you to have the best support you deserve. And you're not going to get it here. Because this group is a bunch of family members that are frustrated and probably angry. It's, you will do much better in the recovery support connection groups. Let me give you the information and send them out the door. I will not allow.
Wonder how much that is they didn't have anywhere to leave their loved one. They came to the respite group. That could probably be an issue.
We're not a respite group.
Right. You know what I mean?
Right, because they didn't have any respite to do it.
Yeah,
Right, I'm sure
maybe.
it was, but the damage
Right,
done,
right.
oh my gosh, yeah, in terms of speaking about a family. But they're so exhausted, but they're online groups that they're available to. So support groups. All right, so that's our main thing. They're peer-led. One of those peers offer participants the opportunity to share their experiences, gain support from others. We have recovery support connections. And then finally, next one, and then two expansion groups that I mentioned. So those are our regular support groups. Next slide. And we have both of those in Columbia. I think we only have 7 affiliates in the state in terms of in-person meetings. Next slide. Yay, we have books in Columbia. Next slide. We also have classes, next slide, which are peer-led education courses free of charge to participants. Next slide. They're designed to meet the needs of the target audience. Classes. They emphasize the importance of hope, community, and provide insights and challenges related to mental illness. Next. We have the register. So those classes give a lot of information. One note. It takes basic information. Next slide. So the education programs. Next. Family to family. You can read what those are. Much information. A lot of people take that. I had a lot of people who work in mental health who take it and say, that's the best thing I've ever done. Mm-hmm. It was in this class that really helped me understand why my son didn't really like going to like family reunions and get-togethers. Because he was stuck. His cousins were all going on, graduating, getting married, having careers, and he was stuck. It wasn't that he didn't like or love his cousins or his extended family, and he would go, but it wasn't like, yay, we're going to see, it was because he was stuck. But different things and to help, but just a great overview, because most of us kind of know a little bit about physical health. Mental health, we have no idea how that works or how the system works, and this is a great basic overview. Next slide. And this has been free. It was 8 weeks at no cost, evidence-based. Next slide. So then we have peer-to-peer. It's sort of the same thing, but the peers, people who live with the condition, offer an 8-week educational program. So it helps them with coping skills. They can kind of begin to see their future a little bit more, learn a bit more how to partner with providers, confidence making decisions, relaxation, and stress reduction. So again, those coping skills. We need coping skills to deal with any chronic health issue. So one of the points I make, I was a substance use counselor with that. You need your brain. You have to change your behavior about any chronic health. Right? You have to change your behavior. Doctor's appointments, medication, lifestyle changes. To really effectively manage it, you have to change your behavior. Diabetes, for example, what's the primary organ affected? What do you do? And to manage diabetes, you need to change your behavior. Right? What do you do if the primary organ is and changing your behavior? So Don't tempt me. Yeah. So for us to understand, this is true of mental health situations and conditions. This is also true of substance use disorders because it's a mental health condition. The brain is the primary. It's a chronic health issue. So we may say, well, they went to treatment 2 times. They went to treatment 3 times. Well, she got her blood sugar under control 2 times. He got his blood pressure under control 2 times. Don't they want any help? It's chronic. The organ has been damaged and is not functioning. And mental health issues, for whatever reason, and substance use issues, the brain is the primary organ affected. So we got there. Usually it's so much more about environment than the individual. Next slide. So peer-to-peer also helps people share their stories, strengthen relationships, enhance communication skills. Slide. Then you can also go online for education or virtual programs for parents, caregivers, family members. There's also groups. Next slide. And for those who support youth living with mental health condition, there's also while navigating healthcare, there's 2 specifically on education. This education course called Basics, and that's for families that have minor children who may have mental health situations, kind of how to navigate the system, how to advocate for their child in school. Well, slide. Homefront, mental health resources for military service families. We know that our military, our veterans are kind of like our doctors and lawyers and people with substance use disorders. They want to talk to somebody that really understands them. And so we know our veterans are kind of like that too. They really feel more of a connection with someone who's experienced that culture and lifestyle and that set of challenges. So we have specific home front trainings for families and for the individuals with military background. And provider education, we have that for providers. It could be a regular doctor, somebody maybe is a caseworker, any level. They offer that free, again, free of charge, free CEUs. I remember one time doing a presentation on that and I had a room full of mental health providers. What is your protocol in your agency if you have someone who may be experiencing suicidal thoughts? Most of them did not know. So, just to go, you might make a to-do list when you get back to your agency. What is it to find out what that is? Next slide. So we have presentations, slide. So in our own voice, family and friends, ending the silence. Again, you have to check. There's our state organization, NAMI, Missouri, and we'll show. I'll show. We'll put a slide on there too. But this shows you how to get in touch with them to find out if you want someone to talk about their experiencing with a mental health issue. We can do that. Someone with a family member, maybe, or someone who has an illness. One of the things I liked about Inner Voice was sometimes we have difficulty having more inclusive or diverse presenters, but they would have a video that would go along with it. The individual had a training so they effectively, sometimes effectively, and they would intersperse it with a video that had the diversity offering of the individual. And a person of color or from a different background, they were able to present that. So people still felt connected, even though your presenter might be a white person like me. Next slide. So that just tells a little bit more about family and friends. Families tell their stories or in their own voice. Sorry, I don't that. Ending the silence. This is for students, evidence-based conditions and youth. We're going to get that. Next slide. Advocacy. We appreciate this. Well, I'm preaching to the choir, I know, but how many times do you hear people say, well, they should do that. Like they should cover services for family members, right? Who's they? Next slide. And how will it be funded? Who's going to pay for it? Next slide. So often government policies and budget took me a few years of intervention to go, oh, see, dang, that's where the action is, people. It occurred to me what straws actually got my attention. Drinking straws. Because I thought, actually they're kind of bad for the environment. But I keep going into places and taking straws. So I thought, if I had to pay for every straw, I'm going to pay an extra dollar. We'll still give you one, but you'll pay for it. People pay more attention. If I went someplace and they had no straws, well, that would really change my behavior. So how environment changes our behavior took me a year, but I finally got to take my grocery store. So policy is policy again. For example, one of the biggest things I'm going to go into as much here, but I think I'm prevention. So, what percentage of substance use disorders begin before the age of 18? You need to know this. 35? Go higher. Go higher. Go higher. 90%. 90% of substance use disorders begin before the age of 18. 90% of substance use disorders begin before the age of 18. That was like a total game changer for me. It's like, oh my gosh, if I told you 90% of cancer, which it doesn't, but 90% of cancer begins before the age of 18, wouldn't you say, shouldn't we look at what's going on there? What's your CDC has that. It's been there a long time. Actually, I think it kind of contributes to it. I'm sorry to say, it's like coffee. But the CDC, but also Partnership to End Addiction, also has that. There are a lot of studies. If you just type in what percentage begins during adolescence, you get several sources of number of studies. Yeah, 90%. So it. I have over time, and I'll talk about that more later. We'll touch on that on time.
Trying to find out whether from the 60s when Woodstock was around.
And I will shock you.
The prevalence.
I will shock you with a statistic now. You ready? Sitting down. The rate of youth substance use has consistently dropped for the last 40 years. I know. Yes, I was like, what? Why didn't nobody tell me this? So a good place to look. I don't have it. That's another whole presentation, but it's called One Choice Prevention. They looked at the National Monitoring the Future drug surveys. They said, well, let's look at the kids that aren't using, and that has consistently dropped. So over the last 40 years, alcohol and cigarettes, with the whole push on the vapes, caught us off guard. But pretty much all of that has dropped. Yeah. Okay, I'm a grandmother. I remember the 1970s. So yes, back then it was like maybe 10% of the kids hadn't used anything. The high school kids. Now it's like almost a third haven't used anything at all, and almost 2/3 haven't used anything in the last month. Those are all very significant.
That by change.
It's all the same basis in the brain. Once you understand, right, because once you understand, especially with adolescents, all looking for that. Right? If I get a drink of water because I'm thirsty, my brain is wired to tell me, do that again, because you need it to survive. This is a 10,000-year-old model brain. 10,000. So
let's finish with the presentation.
Yeah, but I want to come back to that. Yeah. So anyway, back to the government policies. Advocacy. So we have NAMI, Missouri. It's a state chapter. Awareness events in the Missouri State Capitol. And then their partners in policy. We have training and advocacy day, Children's Mental Health Week activities, which we're doing next week. It's advocacy training, which helps people know how to advocate, how to talk to their representatives more effectively. Next slide. In fact, now Missouri is also co-creator of the CIT course. They kind of had forgotten that, but I was there at the beginning, and my brother was advocating for this. So a story that you would appreciate was many years ago, really before a lot of the social connection and internet, and in the Missouri, I don't know if the House or Senate, but the legislature, there was some filibuster, and they wouldn't vote on a bill that was going to make a major difference for mental health. And so NAMI literally got on a phone tree, called people, told call your senator, call your representative right now, tell them to sit down because we need to vote on this. So they got enough phone calls. First, I can't remember whose party it was that said you need to sit down. So anyway, next slide. So to educate the public and policymakers about mental health issues, and also to advocate for policies and support individuals and families. So I talked about the funding cuts. Next slide. And this is again where we are now. Last line, this one we pressed. So stay tuned. It's just this. We don't. We've been able to at the state advisory council meeting. I felt like the one I went to in February. I said it's like there's blood all over the floor. It's just a machete. Okay. Next slide. Well, stay tuned. We don't know what the outcome will be. Next slide. So how to connect somebody with NAMI. Next slide. We have again support group and the family and friends. So we have 2 different support groups. Next slide. These are the in-person ones. That was before. There we go. Yeah, this is where first of all, we have the national organization, NAMI.org. And then we have the Missouri organization. These are the in-person groups. And you can find out where all the groups are. But there's also, actually, somebody could access NAMI Missouri online support groups. But also, if you look at this NAMI.org, you can access online support groups through the national organization too. We don't have the rest, but I like the in-person, but online space is nothing. Next slide.
Yes, we need to take just a real quick break.
Yep.
If anyone in the room is attached to the Wi-Fi, it would be very helpful if you could get off the Wi-Fi, because we're having trouble with our bandwidth, and also I think we're using see where your audio is setting. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Pam would be the only one, I think, this one. He's just worried about the recording.
Yeah, it's getting choppy. I got him texting me it's choppy, and he thinks that I'm using a laptop mic, and I don't know where to find your audio settings when we're not. I can't fix that, but let's keep going. So sorry, interruption.
So anyway, there, if you look at NAMI.org, you can see there's a lot of information there. Next slide. And again, this is for family, especially because my frustration was that most of the services, if you dig, are aimed at the individual with the disorder or mental health professionals, not for people who are trying to support that individual getting support. So you can just we're NAMI Columbia. It's on Facebook. I love it. If you like it, I do Facebook posts. So we're like 945. It would be nice to get that up to 1,000 here. That'd be cool. But just look NAMI Columbia, Missouri, and you'll find it. I had a QR code that wasn't working. That's what we had last year for our Children's Mental Health Day. We had 120 people there last year. So we're funding all these things, but again, the grants from the state are not blocked since July. Next slide. If again for giving, Como Gives, you may be familiar with that. In December has now become Central Missouri Gives. I think last year we raised $4,000. That's our budget for the whole year. So we make a little bit go a long way, but that's for publishing. A lot of it's for tabling fees. Like, well, come there. Here's $60. Here, do here, $200, or conference. So I understand that's how other nonprofits raise money, but we don't have a lot of that. So next slide. The publications, a couple of books, great resources, and we have a very extensive lending library. I recommend those books too. Next slide, from the local level. And here's the card that I gave out with more information on what we need to get. If you look at NAMI, Missouri, you would find where the support group is. You would find it. Next slide. Next slide. We also offered unique is the family communication workshop before our first family group meeting. Any new ways to communicate with family members who may be experiencing mental health issues, and families intrinsically do not know how to do that. So I do this, and it's not a support group, it's not a therapy group, it's a workshop. But even just teenagers, it doesn't have to be a mental health issue. Adolescence is kind of a mental health challenge, I think, because their brains are growing. Next slide. And then I mentioned that we have a hard handout for that. Next slide. So, yeah, questions. So, just you have where to find the information. What's your question again? Yeah.
Well, I'll just say that one end of one today.
Right.
This has been overwhelming. Very, very informative. Good start. Thank you. Two questions. I'm interested. I work with lots of foster parents, foster kids, and lots of foster kids with mental health issues. I'm first interested in the peer-to-peer education for people that have mental health conditions. I can envision that. In a lot of cases I'm involved in, the parents have mental health stuff going on and don't have a really good understanding of their own mental health issues, and maybe even deny there's a problem or don't realize there's a problem. Are those sessions like ongoing, or do you have to wait to fill up a class before? How does that work as far as the classes
They
themselves?
have classes, you register.
Okay.
The support groups meet once a month.
Okay.
So they can come to that anytime.
Right.
Once they get online and sign up for.
Okay.
NAMI, Missouri would be the place to sign up.
Okay.
All that information.
Online classes or in-person classes once they get a full enough.
They have some of both.
Okay.
But you have to get kind of a lead time to be.
Of course, I understand. Yeah.
But
NAMI, Missouri.
NAMI.Missouri.org will take you.
Okay. My next question then was actually for parents of youth with mental health issues. Is that, I know that that's online, correct? Is that also through NAMIMissouri.org?
Yes,
That'll
it's
get you there?
called Basics. There's an
Okay,
online,
NAMI Basics.
There's an online version that they can take at their own pace, but they can also enroll in an online class.
Okay.
So
and
again, Basics, both those options are there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. They need to do business meeting.
Questions here or
Yeah.
online? Dave Ballard.
I got another question that was, does dementia fall into this mental health?
Not at this time.
I'm going to repeat that question for the microphone. Dave Mallory asked if dementia fell under this group of
Right.
things, and the answer was
not really. We don't deal with that specifically. It's kind of beyond what we do. But I will tell you, this workshop has a lot of the same ideas, because if you're living with someone who has serious mental illness, schizophrenia, or perhaps bipolar disorder, and there's what we call lack of insight, it's a cognitive neurological deficit. You are not going to have them go, oh, I get it now. The brain is not working properly. They're not going to understand it. So even though it's not dementia, it's different. Some of the same skills apply to us, to how we're still trying to understand what they're saying so that the relationship is intact. So that's still true of somebody who may have dementia, that we don't necessarily agree with them, to say, so what you're saying is, and we're remembering that and still working on the relationship, even though, I hope that makes sense.
Well, is it true that that kind of thing could be more of a medical diagnosis more easily than some of the others? So the doctors might get involved, yeah.
It's all medical, but
I know you said the billing is a problem.
Yeah, the billing's a problem.
But dementia maybe not.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, is NAMI working on trying to recruit or encourage more people to go into mental health services to get the education and experience that they can provide?
I think I would say, as far as I know, no. because we're just trying to find places to have our meetings, copy the book charges, try to get them to lower the table fees, try to print the literature, try to stay in touch with the people that we have on shoestring, mostly volunteer budget. So we do mention that we don't have, my son is an example. He died waiting for help because we don't have enough providers. At one point, we were like Puerto Rico had more per capita mental health providers than we did. So now I think that's improved a little bit the last few years, but we're still close to the bottom.
We mean the state of Missouri.
The state of Missouri,
Yeah.
yes. And we are the lowest in per capita spending for public health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. A related question, this budget is from the state being 100% cut and then going back 50%. Do you have a sense of what that means to your operations yet, or are you just desperately trying to get it back? I mean,
right.
How does it threaten your progress?
Well, we were able to provide stipends, for example, to cover the costs of training people to speak, training people. One of the things I appreciate about NAMI, I went to Al-Anon for many years. And because my husband had alcohol use issues and eventually divorced me and died of alcohol issues. So I really got a bad deal, I'm thinking, as far as the mental health of the. But I went to Al-Anon for years. So you just have a volunteer that leads that. NAMI is different in that the group is led by facilitators who are trained and certified in the model that they use. So there's a way that we move that meeting towards solution mode. We encourage people to participate. But it takes money to do that, right? You have the people who are trained and train us. So when we don't have money to do that, then our peers aren't getting trained. So they're presenting in a way, if somebody says we have an hour presentation so that they know how to give their presentation in an hour, it's appropriate for that audience. We all need that kind of help sometimes in how to structure things. So we don't have the money to do the training, to pay for the mileage, to print the literature, to whatever it is we do, Kate, then that impedes it substantially. And all the groups, presentation, education classes have been free to the people who came. So we have membership for NAMI Missouri, but we have always said we never want that to keep anyone from coming. So now we're having to spend part of our time fundraising. NAMI Missouri is now in a position of having to figure out how to raise funds and are in competition with NAMI Kansas City and NAMI St. Louis, who need to raise funds. They never wanted to be in that position. So it's, again, just that. And $250,000, again, is that's a substantial amount of money. But compared to the whole budget and what that saves the state, I think it's a wise investment.
You're talking about organizational structure, and there are a lot of interest in the thing itself, mental health issues. Sounds like you're willing to take questions about both areas.
Yeah. Well, what I know, yeah.
I wanted to ask about the status of naloxone.
Yes.
Availability, because I thought it sounded like, all this effort was being made to get machines to dispense naloxone, and now it sounded like there was going to be no naloxone to go in.
Again, so far, some of the naloxone that we're getting at the health department is from the opioid settlement. It's from the Missouri Institute of Mental Health. So that's separate, but there seems to be movement underfoot that people are like, why are we doing this? And don't understand the significance of why we need it. Boone County, I'm very pleased. We had many conversations about, should we get a vending machine? Some places have vending machines. And when we talked about it in our staff, we said, they're expensive. You have to pay to have them repurposed if they change the boxes, which they have. They're, so time after time we said, no, we can't think of where we would put it. We don't think it's a good fit. So finally we have now they look like news boxes that have the naloxone. We got a grant from SAMHSA where we bought 40 of those. And then they're at every fire stations that are built. I think we have one fire station. So at every fire station in town and some other locations, but it's very available. It's at the health department. So we have 2 years ago, we had no 24/7 naloxone. Within a few weeks, we'll have 40 24/7 availability of naloxone in our county. And we're very pleased about that. It's low tech. And so we're really pleased about that, but being able to continue to buy that to put in there. People can buy it over the counter, but it's $40 to $70. And a lot of some don't put it out. They still put it behind the counter. So if you go to Walgreens and it's after hours, sorry, the pharmacy's closed, you can't get it
What's a typical time span for when it's critical for you to be using it?
immediately. People suffocate.
What's the
That's
longest?
how they die.
So it's
They suffocate. That's why we want more people to carry it, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, they're at the bottom of the swimming pool. Don't you want to do something immediately? Instead of like, let's call first responders and see how long it takes for them to get here.
Drivable.
Yes, and that's why we have it in the schools. Every school in Columbia has it. We encourage teachers to have it. At this point, when we do trainings in schools in Boone County, we are not able to give it to the teachers. But that's why we encourage it for people to understand. People suffocate, so time is essential. So running from one end of Rockbridge to another end of Rockbridge to get it to go back, that's a lot of time. Seconds are critical. You may have heard about the nitazene, this new more powerful opioid. It kills people faster. So again, just this is the new normal that adults, not young people, adults have created an environment. Adults all along have been the ones selling the drugs, not the young people. If we blame the young people, it's like blaming fish for swimming in a polluted stream. Adults are the ones responsible. But it won't go away, but we can make the numbers go down. And for us to create the environment, not the kids are not the ones doing that. So we're back to policy. Yeah.
Basic on this medicine, oxalone.
Naloxone or Narcan. You may have heard.
Is that injection? Is it breathing?
It's nasal spray. Right. It's nasal spray. You can see what it looks like here.
A little thing, and you just kind of go.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to come back and do another training on that. I think you did that. Maybe.
Did that here. I remember passing it around.
We could do it in half an hour. Usually we take an hour, but we could do it in half an hour. And again, if we just pass it out and go, have your phone and have the naloxone, then you could still save somebody because they would tell you what to do.
I swear someone from the public health department spoke at Muleskinners in my memory, and we passed one around, the practice one. So we have, that is somewhere. That's somewhere.
About 2 years ago. Right
It was somebody, yeah.
We
have it all online. Yeah, that would have been it.
Probably a couple years ago when all this.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
What is NAMI's relationship with local drug and alcohol, mental health and treatment agencies?
Repeat the question.
I'm not sure I understand it yet. So NAMI's relationship with drug and alcohol?
With the existing agencies?
It's fine, but I think we're focused more on the depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, more of that than the substance use issues as much. They often overlap, and we have plenty of people that come to the meetings. So, but most of those agencies are professional agencies. Are you talking about agencies or volunteer support?
I'm a former director of the State Drug and Alcohol Providers President. And I know NAMI existed, and I know some agencies had kind of a relationship.
Right.
They'd tell people about it and they refer people, and other agencies were just involved.
It's marketing, and our marketing budget is limited. It was limited before. So it's that marketing, getting in front of people. I remember when I worked over here at Phoenix Programs, we would have people from other agencies coming through trying to get referrals. It's marketing so that people know you're there. And then it just still amazes me how many people and a lot of times with drug and alcohol treatment centers, again, since they don't have services for family members, they forget to even mention that it's there. And I would say that's often true also on the state level. I have found through the state advisory council, they're often what we find is people are working with what I've heard called the worried well. People, a lot of anxiety and depression, but really harder engaging people with serious schizophrenia or real clinical depression and bipolar disorder have a harder time engaged because those are harder diagnoses, right? So anyway, it's very expensive.
So I just wondered about that because sometimes programs work better with existing agencies than others do, and there's a lot of give or take. It sounds like this would be a situation where local mental health centers, local drug and alcohol treatment centers, NAMI should all be in tandem.
Right, and that's our thinking exactly, and we still have a hard time getting buy-in and for people to let people know that we're there.
Is it fair to say that what NAMI is working for is a kind of a whole change of attitude? Because, usually we want to shut out any knowledge about mental health problems or direct them into something that is, taken care of in a category. And you keep opening up that there are all these categories going on that can't be billed, that don't have a medicalization, that still people harm themselves and bring destruction. Right. So it's a kind of a opening up to this rather than a pushing back and, refusing.
I think that's accurate. I think so. And also, again, I'm a grandmother. I've been around a while. So my grandmother was very ill with bipolar disorder, was hospitalized in the 1960s. And so I've seen when, we were simply warehousing people then. And through we have medications that could help. We have talk therapy, that we've had that whole progression of things introduced that could help. It's very complex, it's complicated, it's expensive. So before we didn't even know how to help people. Now we know, but it's expensive. It's often pediatric because people often begin having mental health issues as children. So when we, so it's an opening up, but also I think we're evolving overall to know, what do? We don't know what to do. If people have a serious mental illness, they can't take care of themselves, but they may not understand they're ill. They don't want to take their medication. I appreciate we live somewhere where that we would not take lightly taking someone's freedom away to decide to self-determine if they want to take medication, but they can't support themselves. What do we do? During the American Revolution, you had to build your own little jail for your sick family members. We had people like Dorothea Dixon say, well, we at least should try to find a place for them to treat them. Well, what was considered humane then? It was not, but we're still progressing. We don't know what to do. I think we're still evolving. So to open it up to community conversation, to find ways that we can treat effectively, to manage, and sometimes to remove the stigma. How can we accommodate someone? Do they need to take medication? Are they okay? But then how do they take care of themselves? We're still taking care of. I don't know. It's all very complex.
I had the same question about how you interface with the VA, since they're providing mental health and suicide prevention services.
We offer that. I would say the VA is often a challenge to interface with because they kind of have their own, even with the opioid fatality rates, they report those to the Department of Defense. I never see those. So it's difficult again because that's kind of their own circle. We see that. So we have that program. We interface with them, but it's a challenge.
Okay, we can't break, but we can certainly break enough to thank our guests for this. Let's see if we can get Pam up with her announcements, and while she's doing that, and Sarah is helping her, I'll talk about next week. Let's see, our program next week is
Move the Needle.
yes, the Oxenhammer Move the Needle group will be online to talk to us. Some of us have already had some interaction with them, so it's time to have a meeting with them.
It's Pam. She's getting it.
Okay. There will be an executive officer meeting after the meeting. It's all online next time. So we'll be thinking about agenda items for that. Part of those will be my summer schedule, which I'm still on a schedule to go to my Harvard reunion and probably almost a month in Europe this summer. So I want to, make plans for that. I'll tell you more about, update you on the health situation as it comes. This week I had oral surgery, but I'm fine. Whether or not and then how we participate in the Juneteenth is another issue. Last time I brought up whether anyone wanted to write an op-ed about Respect Missouri voters. I haven't gotten around to that myself, and I think their campaign is kind of coming to an end now, as I recall.
Yes, they're turning the petitions this Sunday.
Yeah, whether they need op-eds at this point, I don't know, but nobody's contacted me and nobody's told me I have to do it too, in addition to all the things I've been doing. One of the things I was not doing today was running this, and I thank Sarah for taking over.
Doing what I could.
Because I really wanted to hear this presentation.
Yep.
I was in Ohio for a memorial for a friend who committed suicide, but it was dementia related, and he was getting attention from the Cleveland Clinic. So even under those, pretty good circumstances, it is so hard. And under the kind that Heather has been describing, I really, I'm impressed by this open approach. How are we doing? I think I'm running out of an item of business at this point. If you have to leave, please go out, and if Heather can stick around for talks, I hope our discussion here won't last too long. As you can see, when you put a new computer in the mix or somebody else's computer in the mix, it's not easy. And that's what I've been pressing people on here. But,
Of the PowerPoint. Of the PowerPoint. I had to give her. I had to give her
all right.
key fob back.
Okay.
Screen that again. Can you full screen that again?
Get rid of those guys, maybe not out there.
Yeah, there.
Okay, we're getting a little better. Get rid of that too.
That's okay.
Close everything. Yes.
Ooh, that'll be everything.
Yeah, I don't see any choice.
Then click here. I should know what to do.
Oh no, this looks different than mine.
It's good enough.
This race is good enough.
If you hit the view
Okay, just
menu
go
at
ahead.
the top, you can make it bigger, but it's fine. Just go.
Well, thank you to Heather. That was really very informative. It's really helpful to know all about that.
And everything on there.
Next week, we will have Gary Oxenhandler from Move In with Teresa Van Dover, Kurt Mershake, and they will talk about who we are and what we do. Then May the 15th, it will be Ed Stansberry, the Executive Director of the Voluntary Action Center, and Jessica McNear, Director of the Waypoint Shelter. Back Opportunity Campus, the status update on the long-awaited Opportunity Campus. And down to events. So tomorrow we will have the Patriots against Kings protest at 10:30 on the corner of Stadium and Broadway. And today they are having a Bidmo Jobs for Justice picnic at Peace Park, and they start at 1 for the picnic.